Hi everyone, we're going to use a calculator to solve each equation on the interval of 0 to 2 pi. And these are the 4 problems we're going to do. I'm going to go a little faster on these. I'm calling this one part 3. So please watch part 1 and 2. They're right together under the playlist Solving Trig Equations. Because I'm going to go a little faster on these. So the first one we have is 5 tan of theta plus 9 equals 0. And so first of all, I'm going to solve for tan. Subtract the 9, so you get 5 tan of theta equals negative 9. Divide both sides by 5, so you get negative 9 over 5. Now, I know tan is negative in quadrant 2. I'm just going to draw a line here, and 3. I'm going to go ahead and get the reference angle for the positive here. I'm going to get the reference angle in here and then go that way because it's a lot easier. You don't get confused so much. So basically what I'm going to do is change my primary angle to alpha and do the absolute value of this. So that's going to be 9/5. So tan of alpha, to find alpha, you get alpha equals inverse tan of 9/5. And that's going to be this part right in here, which is approximately 1.06. But we want where tan is negative, which is tan is positive in 1 and 3, so it's negative in quadrant 2 and 4. So all I'm going to do is I know this little bit is also 1.06, and I know this little bit here is approximately 1.06. So to get this whole angle here, I'm going to take my pi, and remember, make sure your calculator's in radians, and get my first angle, which would be theta 1, and that's going to be pi, and make sure you use pi, not 3.14. It's just more accurate when you do that. And we're going to subtract this to get that total angle there. And that's going to be approximately 2.08. Now to get this whole angle here all the way to here, I'm going to take my 2 pi and subtract that to get that whole angle there. So theta 2 equals 2 pi minus 1.06, and that's going to be approximately 5.22. So here are your 2 angles, and those are your solutions. Okay, the next one is this one. I'm going to first divide by 4. And also, I'm going to change it to tan because my calculator is not very good with cotan, or it's too complicated. And tan is reciprocal of cotan, so I'm just going to flip this to negative 4/5. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and change this to a secondary angle, alpha, and do like I did before. Do the find what's going on in quadrant 1 to get my reference angle. So when I do the inverse tan of 4/5, I get, I'll put it up in here, 0.67. However, we know that it's negative. So we know we're really in quadrant 2 and 4, just like we did before. So you're going to do the same thing you did before. We know this little bit is 0.67, and this little bit is 0.67. So we merely take our pi for our first angle and take pi minus 0.67, and that gives you approximately 2.47, and so that would be this angle here. And then for this one in quadrant 4, we need to go all the way around, So I'm going to take my 2 pi minus 0.67, just like the other problem. And that's going to give you approximately 5.61. So these are your two answers. And we'll move on. Like I said, I'm going a little faster on this one. Okay, this one, the first thing we want to do is solve for sine. So add the 2 to both sides, and then divide by 3. Now we know sine is positive in quadrant 1 and 2, so I'm just going to keep that as theta and write this as theta equals inverse sine of 2/3. And that gives you, and I'll just draw some acute angle here. That's going to be 0.73. Since sine is also positive in quadrant 2, that means this little bit is 0.73, sorry. Alright, 0.73. I'm merely going to get this whole angle here, I'm going to take pi minus that to get this total angle, because we know this whole angle here is pi. So we're just going to get my first angle, we already know is approximately 0.73, and my second angle is going to be approximately pi minus 0.73, which is approximately 2.41. Okay, and the last problem is this one. So I solve for cosine. I subtract the 3, then I divide by 4. So we know that cosine is negative in quadrant 2 and quadrant 3. I'm going to go ahead and change, since it's negative, make a secondary angle here and do the absolute value of this and do positive, just so I can get the angle in here. So inverse cosine of 0.75, and that's going to give me 0. So this angle here is approximately 0.72, but that's not the one we want. We want the one that's here and here. So I know this bit is 0.72, and this little bit is 0.72, based on the reference angles here. So all I'm going to do to get theta 1 is take pi minus, trying to go too fast so I mess up, 0.72, and my theta 2, because this is pi here, equals pi plus 0.72. And you're going to get approximately, for this one you get 2.42, and for this one you're going to get approximately 5.56. So your answers are 2.432 and 5.56. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.